G's, my G's, welcome back to Tyson's Alchemy. And in this video, I'm going to drop you some knowledge on how to present to people, how to be a man in front of people and present your own ideas. So let's get into it. So when you're presenting to people, you actually want to give off the idea that you know what you're talking about. And the first thing you need to do is obviously know what you're talking about. You're not going to feel confident going into a situation where you have to present to a room of people if you've not researched or known the topic. So when I used to be in university, I used to do a lot of winging it. What we call in the UK, winging it is when you don't practice and you just make up as you go along. Now, this only works if you've got charisma, confidence, and a lack of fucks to give. So if you're going to a business event and you need to present to people, you probably need to do the research. But if you are doing something like uni or school and you don't really care, maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't, it's not my opinion, it's your opinion. You can just play a character, play a role, maybe play an alter ego. If you've been following the courses or doing the inner architect work, you'd know that that's something you can do. So that's step one, is know what you're going into, know what you're talking about. Step two is it's actually easier talking to real people than talking to the camera right now. Because as I'm looking into the camera, I know this is going to go out to someone in the future, but there's no feedback. All I'm going off is my own tonality, and I can raise it and get excited, and I can lower it and get serious. But I've got no feedback, no eyes, no motion. And my special gift is that I'm able to extract energy, give energy, and see what's happening in front of me. So I actually enjoy doing presentations in front of people because I'm able to see with their eyes what's happening. Are they enjoying it? Are they finding what I'm saying interesting? Is it funny? Am I getting a giggle? Do people look bored? Does the guy at the back, is he concentrating? So it's actually easier to present in front of people if you're aware of what's happening. But I understand that a lot of younger people don't feel confident. But it stems from, if you know the topic, like I said in point one, then you're going to be very confident at presenting the idea because you know it. So point number two is always involve humour. And again, if you're in a room with people, you can look at someone. If someone gives you a smile, you can make a funny comment about something. I don't mean a funny comment about them. You don't want to make it awkward and start taking the mick out of everyone. You want to break the ice. Usually in a presentation, everyone's a little bit either bored, if it's school or university, or there's a bit of anticipation and you're maybe coming up and getting nervous. I always lean into humour. So I'll give you an example. The last event I went to, I was in Ireland. I was doing a presentation on AI and the effects of AI and how, if you don't switch your brain on, AI will do all the thinking for you and you'll end up a slave yourself, right? So that was like the context of what I was presenting. But when I came up, the friend that was on before me, he'd left his laptop on and he was talking about an AI video where it changes your appearance. If you step in front of the camera, it would change you into something else, a monster or whatever. So as I went up and I seen it was there, I immediately ran over to this device. Instead of going straight into my presentation, and I did like a little funny move around in front of it and they could see on the big screen it was someone else, and I just broke the ice immediately. So instead of like coming up like a stiff guy, like, "Hi, my name's Tyson, welcome to the AI presentation," I came up and instantly had a joke. Now, the caveat to this is you don't go too far with the joke. You don't want to look like a clown or an idiot. What you're trying to do is be relatable and be relaxed. If you come up dead serious, right, listen here, this is how you do it, this is a fitness program, everyone's a little bit like, calm the fuck down, okay? But if you come up with a little bit of humour, have a look around the room, see if it's that kind of room. If it's very, very serious, then obviously you need to kind of jump straight into the topic. But there's usually always a way to drop in the humour. So point number three is interact with the people. It's the easiest way to get your confidence up and to relax. You'll notice that there's some people engaged and some people maybe looking down. The best thing you can do is ask a question. to get an answer that you're going to talk about. Okay, so when I was doing the AI presentation, for example, I'd say, hands up here, who uses AI? Hands go up, hands go up. Now, not all the hands went up, and we're at an AI presentation gig. So instantly, time for the joke. So the people that didn't put their hands up, I'd be like, you not got your hand up. Are you new to AI? Have you not been using it? Are you lying? And are you lying? Have you used it? And then they're like, oh, no, we're a bit shy about putting the hand up maybe. But you've got people involved, they're doing something, they're watching. And the people that maybe don't react, you can have a little bit of light humour with them. Okay, so interact with them. Has anyone heard about this? Hands up. You talk to them. You're not just going, and here on the whiteboard is self-hypnosis, is okay, and yeah, you're talking to them and interacting with them. So talk to the people, try and get reaction, ask them questions to lead into what you're going to talk about. Point number 4, I'm going to link back to the inner architect work. If you really are not confident with talking, the best thing you can do is develop an alter ego. Think of someone that is good at talking. I'll give you the same example I've given you because it's the best one for presentations and sales. Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, the king of sales, stands there like a G, says what he needs to say, and sells a pen. Now, growing up, obviously, 2013 the film came out, so I'm quite a young G at the time. I would wet my hair like Jordan Belfort. I've been over this, it's all in the course, but just to touch on it in case someone's not seen the previous videos. I would wear something smart and wet my hair, slick it back like Jordan Belfort, and I would walk into the presentation like I'm him. If you actually do this properly and you find an anchor, a way to feel like the character, whoever it is for you, Batman, Top G, Tyson, whoever it is, right? You walk in and your job is to act like them in the presentation. So you're going to go up and you're going to act like Jordan Belfort. Yeah? You're not coming up and sell me this pen and trying. You've already thought about how they would act, and then you're just going to go act like them. And it's easier to play a role than to do something you're uncomfortable doing. When you were younger and you were a kid and you would act like a superhero or run around like your favourite character off TV, you didn't think about it, you knew what they would be like. I'm Batman! With your friends and have fun. And all of a sudden you get to an adult and you can't have fun anymore. Well, developing an alter ego is perfect for presenting. Perfect. The next point is, obviously, just like anything, it's a skill that has to be developed. So you're probably not going to nail it your first time. The first time you do a presentation in front of people, your voice might be a little shaky, you might stutter a little bit, you might go, it's fine, it's part of life, you need to learn, you need to fail to win, fail to win, fail, 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 win, fail, 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 win. You have to go through the failure to get to the winning. It's part of the process. But if you add these tips up that I'm saying, and you're willing to fail, you will get better. But it's just like any skill. If I said to you, let's go play football, because football was my profession, you've never played it before, you can't expect to be as good as me. You're probably going to get beasted, right, if we were doing one-on-one. So you have to have a sense of realism. You can't just step up and start doing a podcast if you've never done a podcast. It's hard to present to people if you've never done it before. If you don't know algebra, you're not going to know anything about algebra, okay? So give yourself the benefit of the doubt when you're starting. The next piece of advice I can give you is to use your body. You might have noticed already in this presentation that I'm giving you that I'm using my hands. It's an expression. Now I'll show you what happens. If I present like this and I look at the board and welcome to my presentation, self-hypnosis is the key. You don't talk like to people like that, okay? You express with your body. Now you don't do too much, like, yeah, self-hypnosis is the key. You're not popping a lock on, but a little bit of expression. You use your hands, okay? It's a way of communicating, and you're telling a story. You're showing people what could happen. Yeah, you're expressing. Those are my basic tips that you can use when presenting. But ultimately, practice will help. You can practice in front of the mirror if you're serious about doing a very good presentation. But the more you do it, the more you talk in front of people, the easier it becomes. I actually find it more difficult talking to the camera because you can't get any feedback until you've went and edited it, and then obviously if you don't like it, you've maybe got to go back and do it again. But I'm a one-time guy. I'll just rock and roll, get it done, boom. And it's the same with the presentations. Not all of my presentations have been absolutely perfect. Sometimes I've done the presentation and later on I've forgotten about a really good point that I wanted to add in. Sometimes that happens. You've just got to accept that you were in the moment, you were giving it your best go, and you can reflect and add it in next time when you do another one. Or think about that, write in notes so you don't forget. I've never used notes myself in a presentation. For me, I prefer to walk up and look like I know what I'm doing. Even in the presentations where I wasn't that confident when I was younger, I used to just go up, use humour, use charisma, think of an alter ego, and just step into it and do it. It's just like any skill or any type of experience that you've never quite done before. You step into it with confidence, and you give it your best go. So, take this advice on. Obviously, you can Google and AI how to be a better presenter and get all the basic advice, but this is my advice. Use humour, know what you're talking about, develop an alter ego that's good at presenting or super confident, and use them. Find an anchor, whether it's a slick back hair or a bracelet or a shirt, whatever it is, whoever it is that you want to be to present, and use them. Because what happens when you play the role is your subconscious and your body doesn't know any different. You mentally know that you're acting like Jordan Belfort, but inside the training wheels are moving, and all it's hearing is, hey, I presented quite well today, which is true, you did, because Jordan Belfort didn't actually enter the room and present. You did. When I was doing it, he wasn't actually there. I was just embodying his energy. You can do this with anyone, Tristan, Tate, Tyson, whoever you think is good for the moment. You just act like them. Your body gets a receiving signal saying, yes, actually we're doing this. Even though in your head you think, I'm just acting like Tyson doing this presentation. But your body is recognizing and learning that it's you. And you start to build up that XP, that experience points in that presentation skill. And then you can take it into the next one. And before you know it, you're not slicking back your hair. My hair's not wet anymore. I don't need to do it. I use other alter egos for other fun stuff. And that's the fun thing about alter egos. You can use them for all kinds. But ultimately, it's always you. You're just playing a role. So, that would be my best advice for learning how to be a good presenter in front of people. Be relaxed, be confident, dress sharp, feel like a G, act like a G, breathe. Remember to breathe. I've seen some people where and the voice gets higher and higher and squeakier. Breathe, control your breath, relax, and try and speak to the people as if you know them. The quicker you interact with them, like I said earlier, the quicker it'll feel like you know them. If you just stand there and try and present and you don't know them and you're just trying to get out of the way, it's going to feel awkward. Interact. Remember, they're feeling as awkward as you are. They've got to look up at you and listen to whatever it is you're saying. It's awkward for both ends. So you don't need to make it awkward. You can act with confidence. Not too much humour, not too stiff, not moving too much, but moving. Find the balance, find what's right for you. Develop an alter ego if you need to. Okay? Hope this helps. And remember, self-hypnosis is the key.